I am not here to debate with anyone. I have devoted all of my adult life to this subject. I only debate with my equals. All others I teach.
All right, then. So I'm going to talk about um, the great disservice. I'm I'm gonna try my best. Um, I'm gonna try to remove myself, um, and it may not be successful, but um, I don't want to talk about black issues. All right, um, because it always ends into the same predicting of frustration and anger. Because I don't see I don't see the world as how some of y'all see the world, and y'all think a lot of y'all want to follow trends rather than following logic. So on my community tab, I was talking about Congresswoman Summer Lee, and let me say this right now: I have a huge crush on this woman. I don't, man. Listen, I do. I have a crush on that woman, but besides the point, when I'm watching this podcast, they're talking about reparations. Andrew Gillum, who ran for governor of Florida, when he got caught in um, that rather embarrassing homosexual um, excursion he had. Um, Anyway, the thing he was, I think he was a host of it. I think he was one of the co-hosts or this this particular live stream. They're talking about reparations and all that with Summer Lee, and I'm just looking at the comments section and the ignorance of some of us. Some unique roles are very embarrassing. It's like y'all didn't hear not one word was uttered. The reason why people were against the ADOS and the reason why people were against FBA because of the logic of voting down ballot. Let's not vote at all. And by doing that, we'll get our reparations by not voting. And the whole idea of voting down ballot, how you gonna get a Supreme Court judge while voting for the executive when the executive branch, i.e., the president, can appoint when it's the duty of the president, he or she can appoint a member of the judiciary branch, which is the Supreme Court and other judges below it. We. I'm gonna say this right now. With all this internet we got, we pay Verizon, AT&T, we pay Starlink, we pay Hughes. What's it called? Hugh.net for our internet. With all this internet we have, a lot of y'all are very, very ignorant. And that comment section really roasting. That's why I really don't want to talk about black issues. The most misinformed people are y'all? We need a a crime bill, a hate crime bill. We already have that. I was trying to tell this, because what happened to that young man in South Carolina? What happened to that young man in South Carolina? You have one of these FBA Negroes saying, and let me use that term. Hold on, let me talk about that term FBA. When I talk about the FBA, I'm talking about the movement. I'm not talking about the lineage. I'm talking about the movement. So I rather prefer the classic term Black American, African American, rather than FBA. That don't sound, even the name is just ridiculous. But anyway, back to the point, right? That's another reason why I'm against it. It's based off of grift. And the thing is, y'all allow the grift to take over. Y'all allow grifting to overtake you. Y'all allow the grift to warp y'all's emotion. And a lot of y'all are so misinformed. But again, I really don't want to talk about black issues anymore. I really don't. Um, you know, because y'all don't research. Y'all don't look up things. Y'all just talking, just be talking. And and then y'all ask just stupid questions like, who is your parents? Where do you come from? As if that's supposed to help you out. As if that's supposed to get you to a better framework to receive justice in society. Y'all ask dumb questions like that. Congressman Kennedy, Joseph Kennedy III, he's for reparations. Are y'all asking him for what his family come from? And there's not 1 ounce of black in him. That's a Roman Catholic Irishman American at that. So for y'all to sit there and say stupid shit, y'all say the most dumbest shit to people online. And then y'all wonder why somebody like myself will cuss your ass out. You know, see, I like to cuss you niggas out for saying dumb shit to me. See, I have a degree in history. In the land. See, let me tell you why some of y'all fucked up. Let me tell you why some of y'all fucked up. A lot of y'all left the South and went north. Y'all sold y'all land that grandma and grandpa, great grandma, great great grandpa had, and y'all went north to Chicago and New York. Y'all left everything behind. And that's why some of y'all got trapped up in these weird ideologies. It makes no sense to me. Okay, let me say this. Okay, somebody in the chat room says something. Okay, I'm gonna ask this question, and nobody has answered this question. And I've been asking this question ever since. Can you speak that language? Can you write in that language that you claim that where you came from? That's all I'm going to say. What customs? No, better yet, here's a better question. What customs do you have today that was passed down to you? Because I can go to any Native American reservation, Native American people, American Indians, sit there and tell me I'm this, I'm that. This is the ways of my people. We did this, and that, and the third. I can go to Texas to get to go to that reservation. I can go to New Mexico and Arizona. I can go to Oklahoma. But anyway, back to where I was at. I'm tired of y'all coming up in the mix, telling people don't get involved, and then complain about getting involved, complain about something happening, just like what happened in South Carolina. You're going to complain about a Korean man shooting a young boy in the back, shooting a young black man in the back. And you Negroes, Tyreek Nasheed, I'm talking about him, particularly him. How you going to talk about that when you told black people don't vote? You told black men, especially no black women vote. Yet you told black men not to vote. I see Phil the Advice show over there trying to hang around with Candace Matthews down here in Houston. The Negro going to hang around with Quantel X, Dr. Candace. I forgot her name now. Oh my God, Candace Matthews. He over there following around them with an iPhone. But Negro, on your YouTube channel, you tell black people don't vote, while Quantel X and Candace Matthews are telling you to vote. Because of what's going down there, because what that judge is doing in Houston, Harris County, and such. Here's you. I'm like this, and I have to agree with Man Tomorrow. Shout out to him. And you know what? I ain't gonna say it. I ain't gonna say it because I know. Let me say it like this. I'm going to be brutal. I'm going to be brutal. If you push me, understand I will push you back. I'm tired of people trying to speak up for me when you don't know shit. Walter Pecker, you know what? See, this is the reason why I get pissed off about. Right? Hold on. You see, the timeline does not match. Okay? Your timeline does not match. Walter Pecker, you know what? Let me put this up. Let me put this up because see, we're going to end this, right? We're going to end this. And let me just go ahead and show you what who he's talking about in the chat room. Let me show you who he's talking about inside that chat room, right? Now, look at his the time he was born and look at the time of his death. The man died just after World War II, 1947, 2 years after World War II had ended. Now that's, you know, so you he, so you see what I'm talking about? You said this. No, sir. Walter Pecker reclassified many of us as black, and also we couldn't have come on ships of hundreds because we would have perished of starvation to disease and due to overcrowding and hygiene. Let me help you out. Um, if that was the case, then explain to me the ledgers. Explain to me the lead. See. You think that black people just sell from South Carolina straight to Africa? It didn't happen like that. I hate to inform you, it didn't happen like that. They went to certain islands, St. Helena's Island. They pick up supplies from St. Helena. They pick up supplies from islands like what's the other island? The offshore of Morocco. The slaves did not just sit there and just starve. Well, a lot of them did starve. What I'm saying, a bulk of them was fed. They were fed with garbage, but yet they were fed nonetheless because they used because Saint Helena Island, Senta Island, and also the Bahamas and Bermuda Island. Those were used as refilling stations. So you thinking that it was a direct point A to point B selling? That did not happen like that. You got to read the ledgers. It's been documented. And yes, I'm not going to deny, yes, a lot of people were starved. A lot of people was fed to sharks. A lot of people caught diseases. That is true. There's no denying that. But the problem is y'all thinking it's a point A, point B thing when we know it takes at least 3 weeks at most to get from one side of the Atlantic to the to the other side of the Atlantic. It's all in the ledgers. And I'm gonna say something too. I'm gonna say this straight up. Y'all are really the ones who get up in the way in this conversation though, because we're going to deny uh African slavery. We're going to deny that when when it's been documented by both the Africans and the Europeans and also the people who finance the slave industry. You know, I mean, it's even it's a it's you know, you're serving a disservice to that his history, and that's why I really don't want to talk about black issues no more. You know, because you know, y'all. Anytime we talk about something like reparations or you know, or you know, y'all keep coming into the picture with well, we're this. You know, slavery did not. There was no African slaves. The slave trade did not exist. You know, when y'all coming in that conversation, I'm sorry, I don't got time to talk to you. I can't take y'all seriously. Now, what I said on my community tab, you know, what I said on my community tab, you know, I laid out. Well, I lay out a summary because I'm not going to give y'all the details on how I would have done it, but I have an alternative plan. And if you saw my community tab, you kind of you sit there and say, okay, I see what Big J's talking about. And one thing I will say about my own plan, right? Um, I would use the Freeman's Bureau and the Freeman's Savings uh and loan savings bank, the Freeman Savings Bank, uh the the ledgers on that. I use that as a baseline, so we don't have to sit there and talk about well who was slaves in you know anybody who is a descendant of the Freeman's Bureau or the Freeman's savings bank, any descendants of that will be served as a baseline. Then we'll move on to the other people who was freed in the 1830s in New York or oh shit. Speaking about banks, I forgot to do a. Speaking about banks, I need to uh pay a credit card off in a minute. But anyway, back to the point. Yeah. So I really don't want to hear it because I got my own plan. I'm gonna do what needs to be done. And if y'all come at me sideways, I'm gonna let y'all understand you're going to get stolen on. No, don't come to me talking about Big J. You're against us. Big J, you're on some, you know, who is your people? I bet, man, you're not the people of the soil, motherfucker. I'm gonna tell you Negro straight up right now. The land I'm on been here since 1865, or actually 1863. The land I live on been here by my great grandparents since slavery ended. Shut the fuck up. You know, I don't have to explain nothing else to you Negroes. So don't come to ask me that. Like again, you get stole on. Because I don't got time to be sitting there. You got some of these Negroes. This is what Tyreek Nasheed and Tim Black and Phil DeVine show. They poisoned the well. Okay, I don't care about the tethers. If you want to go after the tethers, then by all means do it. But at the same time, just because somebody else thinks differently than you, don't come there and try to fuck up their parade. Now I ain't supposed to cuss. I wasn't even supposed to cuss, but I'm tired of hearing y'all talk. I'm tired of y'all saying the same thing over and over again. I'm tired of y'all being misinformed. You know, and I'm tired of y'all asking questions like, "Who is your lineage?" Like, nigga, I'll just ask you, who is yours? Like, nigga, you up in New York. I'm down here in Texas. What are you talking about? No, you could. You act like hold on. You act like there's only a few ships that done that. You act like, see, here is my problem with you. What you said. You act like the hundreds of people, yes, you can travel hundreds of people across from one side of the country. Okay, hold on, stop. Let's ask this question, right? If that's the case, how did white people got here then in massive numbers? Let's talk about it. White people are what? 80% of the population. So how did white people got here then? How did white people reach to 80% of the population? Well, now it's 70%, but why was it 80% for a very long time? See, the logic does not make no sense when y'all make that argument. It doesn't make no sense. Now, now you think that everybody went directly from Africa to the mainland America? No, some slaves was dropped off. No, let me say it. No, you know what? Let me calm down. There are islands around Africa, between Africa and the Americas. And I'm not talking about the Caribbean. St. Helena Island, um, Cynthia Island, those islands that's off the coast of that's right in the middle of the Atlantic. Those things will serve as refilling stations, so they get their food and supplies to those slaves and to the crew. And let me also say this too, because then those ships went to the Caribbean, where you know, where some of them was divided off in the Caribbean to either Brazil or the mainland United States. Let's also bring this up as well. Only and I'm using the quotation terms, the good slaves, right? I'm gonna use the term the good slaves. The good slaves went to Brazil or the mainland United States. Not everybody went directly from starting off from Africa to the mainland America. That the mainland continent. No, it didn't. No, most of those ships went made stops to every other island. Then they went to mainland United States. And then on top of that, let me say something too though. Y'all act like slave ships was just a slave ship. Like the only purpose was slave ships. A lot of those slave ships were cargo ships and military ships. Part-time military ships, I should say. So there wasn't being slaves on them ships all every day, but they were slave when it was time to, when there was no war, there was no disasters. Did when I say war, I mean war against the European powers, I should say. Then they were trading uh, or collecting slaves, I should say. Yeah, it's called a cargo ship. Yeah. I want you to notice. I'm not talking about eight. Wait, hold on. Notice what you just said, right? Notice what you just said. What you just said contradicts what you said earlier. because you use Walter Pecker as a barometer of what is blackness. When blackness, uh, when people start talking about black people, the terminology, black people. Well, I mean, we can go back to the Mother Bethel Church, the AME Church in Philadelphia during before the in the early days of the Republic. Go look at Mother Bethel Church in Philly. Go look at the church, the black church, in where Dylan Roof did his massacre at. That church where Dylan Roof went, that used to be a slave rebellion church. They call themselves black. So I don't know why you and what about people like what I've got that slave, the guy. You know what? I'm gonna type it up. Let me type his name up. Hold on. You know, let me open another window. Uh, Damn it. His name is Washington something. Hold on. See, and the thing is, I'm talking about an argument of reparations. You know, let me explain to me. You trying to debate me about who you are and all that. That's what I'm talking about. You know. But anyway, hold on. Let me try to find that. Let me try to find that. Happened in 1840s. Damn. Where is it at? Well, okay, the New York Slave Revolt of 1712. But I'm trying to find the other one. Where's the other one? Oh, here it is. Wait a minute. Here it is. Is this what I'm talking about? Hold on. Is this what I'm talking about? Hold on. Let me see. Hold on. Hold on. Is this? Yeah, here it is. Yes. Yes. Madison, Washington. So are we supposed to sit there? Because when Madison, Washington took over the ship called the Creole on off the shores of Carolina, are we supposed to sit there and say, well, we are from the soil? Well, how come he turned the ship back to the Bahamas? No, I'm not. No, it's not the Bahamas. Hold on. Yeah, Bahamas. I thought it was Bermuda, but yeah, the Bahamas. But you out here talking about, oh, there was no such thing as slave ships, and then you said, you know, we all came from the soil. We all came from here in America. Well, you got to explain Madison, Washington. You got to explain the New York slave revolts of 1712 and all those other slave revolts. And no, I know somebody gonna say, well, Big J, you using Wikipedia. Well, this is just, I'm using it because I'm talking about something else, and he just brought this up. But anyway, let me keep it moving though, right? I'm not denying that there are black people was here. Let me help you out with something, enlightenment. I'm not denying that black people were here. What I am denying is that y'all act like Africans was not enslaved. y'all tried to downplay slavery from Africa. Slaves coming in from Africa, by the way of the Caribbean, or better yet, y'all try to downplay the Atlantic slave trade. That's my problem with y'all. That's been mostly my problem with y'all. And every time we have these discussions, hold on, what the hell going on? What the hell going on outside? Hold on. You know what? I'm about to end this live stream in a minute. But yeah, but I'm really getting tired of y'all. You know, like we can't just think about what needs to be done. We got to sit and argue about, well, who's here and who wasn't, and this, that, and third. You know. Anyway, let me get out of here. Let me get out of here. I said enough. You know, I get pissed off sometime when like we can't get to a point of getting this, getting something to be addressed without having to get people up to speed about history and the complex nature, like the whole idea of, oh, it was the direct point A point B slavery. We went directly from the shores of Africa to shores of of America. That didn't happen like that. Not, I mean, and when I said that, I'm talking about in large quantities. They dropped us off in the Caribbean. Then they shipped us off to the Americas, to the mainland, I should say. I know, man. You got here, Femi, but I'm trying to calm down and shit. I really don't want to cuss niggas out and shit because I'm tired. You know, so let me get out of here. But like I said on my community tab, man, I have a crush on Summer Lee. I'm sorry, I got a crush on that woman. I really do. Damn. Anyway, let me get out of here. You see that? You see that? You see that right there? You see that right there? I said that already. Didn't I say though? I'm not using. I don't use Wikipedia. Negro, Negro, you act like there were 12 ships. You act like there was 12 ships. It was 12 slaves on a ship at a time. No, there was not. No, there was not 12 slaves to a ship. And in fact, if there was 12 slaves to a ship, how many ships were there in enlightenment truth? How many ships were there then? Talking about there was 12 slaves to a ship. I'm gonna say it again. How many ships were there? Okay, I'm gonna use your logic. Let's say there were 12 slaves. Then how many ships were there? Because you got Britain, um, France, Italy. No, not Italy. The Italians did kind of assist in the financing. The Portuguese, the Belgians. So they all have massive navies. So how many ships did he, if you can go by the logic of 12 to a ship, then how many ships were there? Because it's still on the ledger. The ledger still exists. Even go to Canadian. See, that's why I admired the Canadians. There's a thing called the Book of Negroes. This is a time when the British was leaving New York for the last time, and George Washington rode up into New York and re-snatched the slaves that was trying to flee. I might want to do a video on that. Anyway, you know what? Let me get out of here. Man. As for the Aztecs, I'm not going to deny that. I'm not going to deny that either, because Hugo Chavez, the president who was the president of Venezuela, said, "I am of every race." When he said that, he was talking about him being black, him being Hispanic, him being indigenous, and him being European. Just saying, right? I'm just saying. But let me get out of here. I really don't. Like I said, I really don't want to go off on this, because it just, the people in that comment section just piss me off. And yeah. I don't want to hear like the same old, like, if y'all follow the logic why Roland Martin and other people, and I'm not a fan of Roland Martin, but I do agree with Roland Martin, because I see the logic behind the whole don't vote, don't do this, don't do that shit, but then complain on what's going on. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying, you know. Anyway, let me get out of here. I said enough. So I gotta check on what's going on outside anyway. I'm out. Y'all have a good one.
I am not here to debate with anyone. I have devoted all of my adult life to this subject. I only debate with my equals. All others I teach.